Chapter 5. The Truth That Sets You Free. The drama of life is a psychological one, in which all the conditions, circumstances, and events of your life are brought to pass by your assumptions. Since your life is determined by your assumptions, you are forced to recognize the fact that you are either a slave to your assumptions or their master. To become the master of your assumptions is the key to undreamed of freedom and happiness. You can attain this mastery by deliberate, conscious control of your imagination. You determine your assumptions in this way. Form a mental image, a picture of the state desired, of the person you want to be. Concentrate your attention upon the feeling that you are already that person. First, visualize the picture in your consciousness. Then feel yourself to be in that state as though it actually formed your surrounding world. By your imagination, that which was a mere mental image is now changed into a seemingly solid reality. The great secret is a controlled imagination and a well-sustained attention, firmly and repeatedly focused on the object to be accomplished. It cannot be emphasized too much that by creating an ideal within your mental sphere, by assuming that you are already that ideal, you identify yourself with it and thereby transform yourself into its image, thinking from the ideal instead of thinking of the ideal. Every state is already there as mere possibilities, as long as we think of them, but as overpoweringly real when we think from them. This was called by the ancient teachers subjection to the will of God, or resting in the Lord. And the only true test of resting in the Lord is that all that do rest are inevitably transformed into the image of that which they rest, thinking from the wish fulfilled. You become according to your resigned will, and your resigned will is your concept of yourself and all that you consent to and accept as true. You, assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled and continuing therein, take upon yourself the results of that state. Not assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you are ever free of the results. When you understand the redemptive function of imagination, you hold in your hands the key to the solution of all your problems. Every phase of your life is made by the exercise of your imagination. Determined imagination alone is the means of your progress, of the fulfilling of your dreams. It is the beginning and end of all creating. The great secret is a controlled imagination and a well-sustained attention firmly and repeatedly focused on the feeling of the wish fulfilled until it fills the mind and crowds all other ideas out of consciousness. What greater gifts could be given you than to be told the truth that will set you free? John 8:32. The truth that sets you free is that you can experience in imagination what you desire to experience in reality, and by maintaining this experience in imagination, your desire will become an actuality. You are limited only by your uncontrolled imagination and lack of attention to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. When the imagination is not controlled, and the attention not steadied on the feeling of the wish fulfilled, then no amount of prayer, or piety, or invocation will produce the desired effect. When you can call up at will whatsoever image you please, when the forms of your imagination are as vivid to you as the forms of nature, you are a master of your fate. You must stop spending your thoughts, your time, and your money. Everything in life must be an investment. Visions of beauty and splendor, forms of a long-lost race, sounds and faces and voices from the fourth dimension of space. And on through the universe boundless, our thoughts go lightning shod. Some call it imagination, and others call it God. Dr. George W. Carey, The New Name. On the morning of April 12, 1953, my wife was awakened by the sound of a great voice of authority speaking within her and saying, "You must stop spending your thoughts, time, and money. Everything in life must be an investment. To spend is to waste, to squander, to lay out without return. To invest is to lay out for a purpose from which a profit is expected. This revelation of my wife is about the importance of the moment. It is about the transformation of the moment. It is only what is done now that counts. Whenever we assume the feeling of being what we want to be, we are investing. So it is relatively simple. Form a mental image, a picture of the state desired of the person you want to be. Concentrate your attention upon the feeling that you are already that person. First visualize the picture in your consciousness, then feel yourself to be in that state as though it actually formed your surrounding world. I think where a lot of people get confused here, and I know I was one of them, feel yourself to be in that state. I think it's tripped a lot of people up, that word, feel. I thought it was about emotions. Say, picturing yourself winning the lottery, feeling the excitement and, the amazement, the gratitude. But that isn't what Neville's talking about. He's talking about the feeling of naturalness. Visualize yourself as healthy, and it feels natural that you're healthy, or that you're in a relationship, and it feels natural. If you're visualizing yourself winning the lottery, or having your ideal partner, or being healthy, and it doesn't feel natural, if it feels forced or it feels unbelievable, then that isn't going to manifest. It has to feel natural. The great secret is a controlled imagination and well-sustained attention. Again, this goes back to what Andrew Carnegie said, that most people can't hold their attention on anything for more than a couple of seconds. It does take practice. And Neville himself said, he gives one example when he was stuck in Barbados and he needed to get back to New York, but there were no ferry tickets available for several months. And he went back to his apartment. He sat down and tried to do his visualization of walking onto the ferry, but he kept falling asleep. Eventually he managed to sustain his attention and do the visualization, and sure enough, Neville got himself a ticket. So it is a matter of perseverance, training yourself. You don't beat yourself up if you fall asleep after a couple of seconds, or you just can't do it. Repetition, training, you will develop the muscle, the ability to hold your attention on something. It's why meditation is so difficult for newcomers. It seems almost impossible to clear your mind or just not to think of anything. You'll sit there for 10 seconds and then you'll think about, maybe you're hungry, or you'll think about something you've got to do at work the next day, and it's just a constant barrage of things that your subconscious mind is bringing to the conscious mind's awareness. But through repetition of bringing yourself back, so for me it was breathing. I focused on my breathing, then a thought would come in my head and I'd get caught away, and all of a sudden I realised I spent 10 minutes thinking about something, and I'd be like, no, back to the breathing. And with repetition, you start to catch yourself quicker and quicker and quicker until you can sit down to meditate, and it'll get to the point when the subconscious mind will no longer disturb you with an endless stream of thoughts. It might be difficult to start with, just visualizing and feeling natural, but with sustained practice, it will get easier. So obviously there's a big difference here in thinking from the ideal instead of thinking of the ideal. You can think about being rich all day long, but it has to be that you think that you are rich. Not that you're gonna get rich, but you are rich. Whether it's in health, money, whatever, it has to be in the present moment. I mean, there's a great saying, where attention goes, energy flows. So if you're putting your attention on the negative news cycles or things that you don't like, you're putting your energy there, you're creating more of it. As soon as you start to direct your attention, limiting where your attention goes, more and more energy is going towards the things that you want to create. So really Really important to understand the power of your words. If you keep reinforcing, saying, I struggle with my weight, well, guess what? You'll struggle with your weight. If you keep saying, nobody loves me, I can't sleep, whatever it is, if you're negatively reinforcing something, then you're going to experience it. It's the law. You've created a negative concept of yourself. The great thing is the subconscious mind is there for your benefit. The conscious mind is the captain of the ship. The subconscious mind is the working crew. It takes orders. So through sustained effort, through constant repetition of direct orders to your subconscious mind, it will get through. So it's only a matter of time before all that you consent to as true of yourself will change.